Join us for an unforgettable Caribbean cruise. Attention everyone, are you ready for a summer escape? Our Black Media Network invites you to an incredible Caribbean cruise from June 16th to June 20th, 2025. Whether you're bringing your partner or connecting with family and friends, this is the perfect getaway. Here's what you can look forward to. Monday, we set sail for the Port Carnival, Orlando, Florida. The adventure begins. Tuesday, enjoy a fun day at the sea. Relax and take part in exciting onboard activities. Wednesday, discover the beauty of Grand Turk. Immerse yourself in the island of culture and scenery. Thursday, another fun day at the sea. More time to mingle with you and your boo. Friday, explore the stunning shores of the Bahamas. Experience paradise firsthand. And last but not least, Saturday, we return to the Port Carnival, bringing back cherished memories. This cruise is your chance to engage with your favorite show host, your spouse, and make valuable connections and ignite meaningful conversations. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. For more information, reach out to our staff or any show host and email at getgoingtravelagency@gmail.com. Once again, that's getgoingtravelagency@gmail.com. Secure your spot today and get ready for a remarkable summer experience. You can learn more information at rblackmedia.com. Once again, that's rblackmedia.com.
Mr. Irwin.
Well, we're back here, and we're here with you this evening. Good afternoon, and this is a special edition of the Vulnerable Community. We're here today, and we have with us Miss Chandra.
Hey, everybody!
And she's from Savannah, Georgia, but she's now residing out in Houston now?
Yes, but I was almost killed in Savannah this past weekend.
Oh my God!
Oh, Lord.
We can talk about it.
Well, I might be. Hey, I ain't the show host, so
we need to talk about what you're doing out here.
What? I was minding my business and eating with my family, celebrating my sister's 50th birthday, and y'all crazy people over there just shooting, no reason.
Wow,
no reason.
That is something. Sorry to hear that. I was hoping you would say you would come home to visit us, you know, and have a good time.
I was there for a whole week and a piece. I had a good time.
You didn't tell me you came home.
Yes, I was just.
You don't talk to your uncle like that. Okay.
Yeah, I was just quiet, but I'll be back.
I hear you. Listen,
Mr. Irwin, let's actually come back Thanksgiving because she was supposed to cook and she didn't have time. So I'm not mad, but we can let her come back Thanksgiving, and that way we're all set.
She might cook up something that we all can eat, huh?
There you go.
Exactly. I can cook, and I did cook a little bit while I was there. But
I have to ask whether you can cook or not. You know,
I can cook. Ask your nephew.
My God.
That's what I say. I have to ask, can you cook? But you know what? This is the night before the general election, and it is quiet.
Not over here.
Quiet. I'm trying to figure out what in the world is going on. It's so quiet. We've got the ads running on TV, but there's nothing local going on. What's your thought about that? I mean, nothing local going on. People are not stirring. The interest isn't there. What in the world is going on?
I will say this about Georgia, and I'm not going to be as critical as I usually am. I would like to see, and I'm going to look at it from a state and a local perspective. I would like to see the DPG, Democratic Party of Georgia, be a little more visible when it comes to these important elections. And I'm gonna tell you what I mean. We have the opportunity in the 1st Congressional District, y'all, to elect Patty Hewitt. She's run a very strong campaign. She's a really strong candidate. She's a great person. She fits well with this puzzle with Kamala. And I just think if we lose that race, that's a reflection on the Democratic Party of Georgia. So what I'm saying is it's up to these state parties, Republican and Democrat, to really drive these engines. And then when you get locally, I think the local, at least from my experience, the local committees take the lead from the state. And so I want these state committees, especially here in Georgia, just to put a little more fire behind them. And that means they got to look at their leadership to get that going.
But what I also feel though, Mr. Aaron, is that Georgia had such a great turnout in the early voting. It was phenomenal. So I just believe that people were decisive. They knew exactly what they were going to do. Most of them had a plan, and they went out in early voting. What you're going to see tomorrow is the people that usually just go out on the day of the election. I never go out on the day of the election. I always go out the first day of early voting. And, so that's probably why it's so quiet, because people have been dragging people out of their houses for probably about the last 10 days or so. And it's either you're going to do it or you're not.
Well, and saying that we have taken about 100 folk to the polls and given them rides to the polls, and we've taken about 100 of them, and we got 2 vans. One, both of them are ready to go in the morning at 7 o'clock in order to make sure we can get other people to the polls.
Mm-hmm.
We there, we ready.
Yeah. Have you gotten pre-calls? Any pre-calls?
We've gotten a couple of calls so far already today for tomorrow. And the Tribune has been gracious enough to put in the paper, that we are giving rides to the polls. So we sitting here waiting, and we're ready to roll.
Yeah. I just, I never could understand the people that wait until the day of voting. I don't understand those people, because, especially Black people, because that if it rains, if it's too cold, if it's too hot, it don't take much for us to say, if we too hungry, it does not take much for us to say why we don't want to go, why we don't want to get out of our house, and tomorrow, and that's why while I was in Savannah, I took a few people to the polls. When I did have transportation, I was calling up my family, and I'm like, you going to vote? And they said, oh, I'm gonna wait until voting day. I said, oh, no, you're not. No, you're not. Come on. I'm coming to pick you up, especially my kids, because I already know those heathens, So I'm like, no. And my daughter was like, Ma, you don't trust me? No, I don't trust you. And I'm not supporting anybody. Nobody can get supported from me that's not voting.
Mm-hmm.
So the people in my house and the people that I support out of my house. Yeah,
I got a question. Did you take my nephew of mine to the polls?
Yeah. I just told you, and we got to reevaluate our friendships, because I've been cutting off a lot of people because of this. Because if you're my friend and you know that I'm being abused by government, you know,
Right.
if you can't step in and do the little thing, and that is to vote in, they're trying to take away my rights and the rights of my girls, you know, and I almost had a daughter that died in July from them taking away our reproductive rights, you know. So if you can't do a little thing just by voting, you don't care nothing about me. And that's the way I feel. So, I'm cutting you off like Georgia Power. And you know how quickly Georgia Power will cut your ass off.
Right. But you know what? I talk a lot about voting being an investment. You know, as you were saying that, what popped in my head was, what do y'all heard the phrase, what are you living for? And it interests me that people will allow petty foolishness, almost like first graders, right, to distract them. And that's huge. Think about this. As an adult, you got to see a round of distraction. And you're allowing a person's behavior, or because Kamala didn't come serve you apple pie personally, or because Barack Obama didn't give you a handshake when he passed, all of the silliness that, like you said, distracts you from the fact that, you know what, this vote could very well impact a church member, a family member, a neighbor. And I'll use this for example. You know, there's a huge conversation, like you said, around reproductive rights. There's a huge ramification for affordable housing. And we all know people in those situations. And so if nothing else, what are you living for? If you don't want to vote for yourself, are you that stupid and want to be a first grader? Think about somebody else, because other people are impacted by this decision tomorrow.
Exactly. I mean, and especially people like your nephew, you know.
Not mine voted because they know I beat that ass. Oh,
She talking about mine now.
right.
You know, your nephew who was saying, well, they don't, she don't have no policies directly for the black people. Well, tell me
What he got?
what Trump's policy directly for the black people is.
Right.
But
You know-
what he has is Project 25.
225. Exactly. And then, you know, when I think about your nephew with his health issues and he needs to buy a house, you know, this could be a great thing for him, you know, you know, her putting a cap on certain medications, you know, all these things that do directly and indirectly benefit us as black people, you know. So whether she specifically says, hey, I'm doing it for you black people, her that $50,000 tax credit for businesses and the $150 grant for new businesses, that's going to directly impact people like me. You know, I'm tired of making these white folk money. It's time for me to break off and say, hey, you know, let me put my mental energy, you know, to work for my own self.
You know,
Well, let me share this, Mr. Irwin. What got me? Give me a moment with this. What you said was so true. I was doing a contract because I was doing some contract work the other day, and I was sitting there talking to a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant male, white male, who was telling me about the farms he owned, FARMS with a plural S. And you know, we'll sit here as a black community and we will dissect every aspect of a person other than the fact that what their opponent won't do for you. What kills me is the fact that folks tend to forget, well, I'm not even going to talk about the whole racism piece, but Trump and the opportunity zone. Opportunity zones give wealthy white folk, I'm just being real, an opportunity to come in and take our communities, as we're seeing, right? You know, and so maybe she isn't, you know, the best thing since sliced bread, but you risk losing your property, our heritage, your livelihood, access. So are we really willing to put this bet on this particular horse because she won't come sing kumbaya at our church? I mean, that sounds so stupid, but people again won't see around the distraction. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, and honestly, who cares? I get it. Maybe he will do better for the economy and the money. I doubt that. I didn't see him when he was president. But
I don't think so.
It cannot be, well, hold on. It cannot just be about money, folks. That's just not how the world works. You got to think about people beyond what we see. It's not just about money. And I think what she does, and I think is so important, is this one slogan: it's a better way forward. And we've got to realize we got to step outside of believing that white men save everything, and we've done that for years and years and years.
And I understand what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying. But we have some of our folk that, for some reason, they tend to want to believe what the other folks say instead of what we say. They have to look deep, and I tell everybody all the time, you got to look deeper into what is being said and how it's being said to you to find the root of what is being said to you. Because a lot of things that she could do or could say, she can't say right off the bat. And you have to look at it, where she's coming from, where she came from, how she got to where she is, and then where can she go from here, and where can she take us from here if we do the right thing. But then again, here's the same thing that we talk about around here: accountability. We have to have to be able to hold her accountable to what's being said.
Exactly. Don't leave your vote for anybody. If you're voting up and down that line, don't leave your vote at the ballot box. Hold people accountable for your vote. And I don't care who it is, whether it's a senator, whether it's the dog catcher, I don't care who it is. Hold them accountable for your vote. Don't let people just come get your vote every 4 years and don't manifest something for you for your vote.
Hold that thought right there, because we're going to go to a quick break, and we'll be right back. Hold that thought, John.
Hello, I'm Richard Coleman, and I'm running for the office of Sheriff of Chatham County. And when I'm elected, I promise to inspect what I expect. Chatham County, it's time for a change, and that change is me, Richard Coleman.
I'm Patty Hewitt, and I'm worried about our future.
Last one.
I think about my grandkids and the belief that they deserve every opportunity. And what you deserve, what Coastal Georgia deserves, is someone who cares more about their community than about corporate profits and big pharma.
I'll see you later.
All right, thank you. Small business owners and hardworking Georgians are the heart of our community.
Have a good day.
Not CEOs, not lobbyists, not shareholders, but who's taking care of them? It's time to ask yourself, what do you want from your government? This is our year to stand up against what we know is wrong. No more DC politicians invading our home life. No more racism that kills dreams and spreads violence. And no more corporate greed at the expense of workers' rights and our environment.
So what would be the most meaningful help to you?
I've spent the last 8 years working behind the scenes, mobilizing our communities for positive change. And while that is really important work, I can't stand by and allow the same tired politicians to run this country, the same ones who've neglected the real needs of Georgians. I'm ready to take our seat in Congress so I can fight for you and your families.
I vote for you.
Thank you, my darling. I love you. This isn't about party lines. This is about voting for a better future for more Georgians. Enough is enough.
Oh, I mean my friend,
your Savannah homeboy, Clarence Thomas, made sure that I don't go to prison.
So Julius is in there talking to Trump. Ooh, I'm telling.
All right, we're right back. Ooh, that looked good what you just put in your mouth.
It was you know what? I'm not even gonna say what it was.
You know,
It was
the
a big hole.
your CEO is watching. He done told you about eating.
But
Yeah, back to what you were talking about.
we have to, we need to, after this election, you need to get yourself aligned with some type of group, action committee, because just like with the Jewish people, they have the Jewish Alliance, they have the National Jewish Action Pact. They have so many groups that look out for their interests, and so do African Americans. Don't even think about the NAACP. Let's scratch them off, okay? Let's look to other things other than the NAACP, or let's create, if it's not out there, create your own and start being, it's no harm in being a disruptor to the status quo. But in order to be a disruptor, you have to be a voter. Because when you go to somebody's office knocking on the door, the first thing that you need to be able to say is, I voted for you and I'm having some problems with the way that you're doing things. Or I voted for you and I want to know what you're going to do about such and such a thing that's going on. Hold them accountable.
And even the fact sometimes you can go to some of those folks that you didn't vote for. Let them know, hey, I didn't vote for you, but you're doing this, and I agree with it. Or you're doing this, and I don't like it. Just that simple.
Yeah, because then you let them know that, hey, I mean, that's the same. Well, I voted for John Welcher 2 times. And I trusted him the first time. But because he did everything that he said he was going to do the first time, I voted for him. I trusted him the first time because he sat me down and he told me, Chandra, this is my plan, all of this.
Right.
But then the second time he earned my trust. And I was happy, to support him because he did what he said he would do, Right. So that's how you go to somebody that you didn't support. You go to them and you say, hey, now I didn't support you the first time, but I've been a voter since I was 18 years old, and I don't miss a chance to vote. I don't care what we voting on, special elections, whatever the election is, I'm there, So
let me ask y'all this. This is a great point because I'm just going to use it as a hypothetical question, but it's one I'm sure many people will think about, because I just thought about it as you were talking about the sheriff's race, and I'm not being funny when I ask this. How do you run for sheriff and coroner? It's like those are positions like that. Like, what do you campaign on? Like, I'm gonna get dead people there quicker, or I'm gonna lock the jail down more. How do you run for that job?
Well, I really have no idea. Well, with Sheriff Welcher, he ran for the job because he had been a lawman all his life. He was up under, I think, Freeman and a lot of other sheriffs.
Right.
So he knew how the jail should be run.
Right, I got you.
He wanted to run it, and he wanted to put more programs into the,
I got you. That makes sense. Okay.
the community, So that's how he ran. I don't know. I don't know how you become a.
Well, I know
you become
like,
a coroner.
Like I mean, it's yeah.
Well, that guy.
A coroner now. That's a different story.
Right now,
Yeah.
he's a perfect person, and even Dr. Metz.
Yeah.
Dr. Metz, he was a doctor, but this guy that's the coroner now, I mean, he's an undertaker.
Right.
I mean, come on.
That's what the coroner do. Deal with the dead.
Right.
Yeah.
They commune
I mean,
with the
all they
dead.
do is certify that when they come to the scene, he dead.
That's about it. And that's a damn good job.
he dead.
Yeah.
And
did.
then they sign off
did
on
dead.
death certificates.
Yeah.
But I think they have to really, and being truthful, they have to figure out why they died.
Yeah.
That do make sense.
And,
But that's
I think-
after autopsy,
Yeah.
and
they have to order that.
sign off on that.
Yeah.
But-
I mean, just hypotheticals, because
And
I
folks
do
feel like let y'all know we are lay people talking about this now. We're not professionals talking about
No,
right.
Right.
This is just our opinion.
I asked that because people have this rhetoric of why I don't have anything to vote for. Why would I vote? And those are positions where I can see people having that conversation, because I'll be honest with you all. Before I ran for public service commissioner, who the hell knows what a public service commissioner is? But then you start digging deeper and you start looking at these positions, right? And you're like, wait a minute, this stuff really does matter. So like you said, with a coroner, you don't want a coroner who's not organized, and you don't want a sheriff who doesn't have ideas, right? So it does matter. Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, we have the opportunity for the first black sheriff right now, and I think that his qualifications come very, very highly recommended. But I think we run into a situation wherein our sheriff now has come to the point where he's almost incapacitated.
I feel that there is a point with all these elected positions that you need to evaluate. Am I still strong enough to do this job? And do I still have that zeal that I had when I initially ran Estella Shabazz? Can I still effectively represent my district and be, give my people what they need, without causing harm? Because if all I want this position for is to say that I'm in position, then you should not be in position, and that's what I had been seeing since 2012. And that's the reason why I ran back when I ran. And had they not cheated back then, I could have won, because I only lost by 88 votes. And had I known that we could go and fill out the senior citizens ballots and everything and take them up to the take them to the ballot box, you know, I would have done the same thing. I would have had my campaign do the same thing. But I digress, you know. But if you look at the 5th district is the way it is right now, with SCAD taking totally over, and all of those people, those elderly people, being at risk right now because they have an inadequate, ineffective leadership, and they've had it for a long time, who is selling them out. So I said it.
I hear you. You know, the thing is, and we spoke just a few minutes ago about inadequate housing. Now they're talking about in fact, they broke ground, I think it was just this week, on the Fairground project for affordable housing.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, it's still not going to be enough. We got the mega plant out here that just opened, that they promised 4,000. They promised 8,000 jobs, but they're bringing in 4,000 foreigners to fill the position. And then we are 10,000 houses short as is. So that's another 8,000 houses that needs to be. So that's 18,000 houses short, compared to, we got so many people living homeless right now.
Yeah.
How in the world can we take care of all these people?
And you know, it has been inadequate planning for more, you know, the planning for inadequate planning and action for more than 2 administrations. And that is the reason why you're in this situation right now, you know, where a lot of your citizens are homeless, you know, or can't afford. They're staying with their parents. They can't afford. I mean, rent is out of control. People are not making. If y'all got 27% poverty in Savannah, who can afford $1,600 for a 2-bedroom apartment? Ain't nobody making money like that, you know. But nobody has said, no, we need to have rent caps, and we shouldn't be having these people from New York coming down here just getting these investment properties and turning our whole downtown into Airbnbs. That's what has taken away from y'all rental properties. When you have a whole downtown that's Airbnbs where people used to live.
You're right. And another, you know, when you think about it, you talk about our governor has sold the state of Georgia for cheap labor, number one.
Mm-hmm.
And these big companies buying into the cheap labor, bringing their companies down here. Labor itself and the labor unions can't get what they should be getting because of the fact that he has labeled Georgia as cheap labor.
Mm-hmm.
So in doing negotiations, you know, and being a right to work state, they try to take it away from labor. Yep. And our people don't understand the concept of unionizing in order to make it better for everybody.
No, because as soon as you say union, they get scared. You know, oh, if I join a union, I'm going to get fired. You know, but they don't understand that you can get fired if you don't join a union. But I would rather have the protection of a union, because at least you have somebody that can protect your interests. You know,
I agree. So I think, you know, coming from labor and being a labor organizer, it has behooved me to go into some places and have some conversations with some people. And when we have these conversations, you hear all kind of excuses why I shouldn't be a part of the union. They gonna take my money. They gonna do this and they ain't gonna do that. Have you given them a chance to do it?
Yeah.
That's my first question. Have you given them the chance to show you what they can do? We organized the school bus drivers, and that was a fight about the fight of my life. I'll tell you that. And once we got them organized, they found out very quickly what was the union. Your union was all about, and how good an asset a union was. We had 19 people get terminated just for their background. We fought. We got all 19 of those people back. Some of them are still working. Some of them have moved up in ranks, but they got a job, and now they're making way better money. And they don't realize that when even at the attempt to organize, there is an incentive that the company is going to give out to keep you from organizing. And see, when we started with the bus driver, they immediately, when they found out we were organized, we gonna give y'all $1 raise. That $1 raise could have been given a long time ago.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
And you know what? The first people that should have organized down there, and I've been telling some of my friends for a long time, the truckers. The truckers down in the southeast region should have organized a long time ago. And they wouldn't be going through what they're going through right now, because during the pandemic, they were getting prime money. But now all of these companies are rolling back. They're getting nickels, pennies on the dollar, and having to go just as far, having to go, and work is slow, everything. They can barely feed their kids.
Not only barely feed their kids, they can't even keep the trucks up.
Exactly.
We have, I don't know if you remember, Chandra, but I led the first organizing campaign with them, trying to get them organized. And it's a fact that, how would you say it, is a dog-eat-dog world, and one backbiting the other one. Instead of coming together and standing firm together, now they're trying the same thing all over again. I was at a rally on Friday evening, and a driver came up to me and said, "Man, we need you to come back out there." I said, "But when I was out there, y'all wouldn't listen. Y'all didn't want to hear what I had to say." Now you see it.
And I'll give you a great example of that. And let's tie this to voting, you all. We know Republicans hate unions. And that's the thing. That's what kills me with a lot of people that don't understand the different parties. Republicans hate unions.
Exactly.
But my dad, My dad was with NALC. He was a postal worker, letter carrier. So he was with National Association of Letter Carriers. And I remember he would tell me all the time, let's just say you're not unionized and your boss comes to you, Chandra, say, I need you to work overtime and don't worry about it, just work overtime. And you don't really have a say. That union gives you a collective voice to say, I'm not doing it unless you give me the compensation to do it.
Exactly.
People fail to realize, do your damn research, excuse my language, do your research and understand the authority of a collective. What kills me, I don't know if y'all ever saw this image. It was an image of a shark. But then they had an image of like 100 fish that have come together to form a shark.
That's right.
100 people versus an organization is a different conversation than us fighting the organization. And people need to just start thinking and understanding where your values lie in this whole voting process.
Yes.
You can take one pencil and pop it, but you put 20 pencils together, you try to pop that 20 pencils. You can't do it. And that's when you come together as a collective body and you can't break it. You got it made. But this is the eve of the election, and we need to take one more quick break before we go. Robert, let's check into another break, please, sir. Well, I reckon he's somewhere around.
I hope so.
Robert, you didn't pass out on us, did you?
Robert's so quick to get up and go.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I have this nervous energy about this election because, Robert, are you ready to go to
go for a quick break, Robert?
Okay, let's do that. We'll be right back.
Need your garments cleaned with care and with a professional touch? Then bring them to One Price Cleaners in Garden City at the Old Farmers Market on Highway 80. Service you can count on.
All right, we're back, and go ahead, Chandra.
Yeah, I have this nervous energy about this whole thing, because I had stopped watching the news for the last probably about week or two because I was just tired of the same stuff. But today I started watching the news again, and now they're saying it's a dead heat in, I think they said Ohio, where they didn't predict that Kamala Harris would win. They said she's 3 points up. And a lot of the white women over 65 are the ones taking her over the finish line. And I don't know. I'm not going to believe it until I see it.
Well, and to your point, you all, I think we got, not much time, but I want everyone to understand this. And this is the most serious thing that I think we would do a disservice if we don't talk about. I want everyone, especially communities of color, to be very vigilant and just very sensitive to your surroundings tomorrow. I am very firmly in the belief, as most people are with the polling and the numbers and the statistics, that Harris will win. And that's not going to go well for a number of people. And so, one, just remember to watch your back, but two, to try to be as nonviolent as you can. I mean, there's a level of stress and attacks you can take. But just be mindful that people are not going to be happy Wednesday morning, and those that are not happy and not on your side, just be mindful of the climate that we're about to enter.
Yeah, and I think that some people are fearful of the unknown, because just like with when we were about to elect President Barack Obama, everybody was excited, but nobody had ever. This was an experiment that nobody had ever done,
Right.
you know.
Right.
So you had it. It was just vitriol. It was mean, you know. I mean, and he went through a whole lot. I mean, and I can't imagine what she's going to go through, you know, because I remember his first when he first took office, and he was giving a speech or something, and somebody just blurted out, "You're a liar." Y'all remember that?
Yeah, it was in his. He was probably doing his State of the Union.
You know, but it was just, they were just so nasty to him. And I just hope that for her, that she seems to be a stronger, more assertive. She seems to be more assertive than Barack was, you know. I hope that she's able to withstand some of the hate that's going to come her way. You know,
The
once
pressure
this
is going to be great.
Yeah, I
The
agree.
pressure is
I'm
gonna
glad.
be great.
What's interesting is I was thinking about what you were saying, and I was thinking, well, she was an attorney general and she was a district attorney, but she was in the space of California, which is way more liberal than being located on the East Coast, very close to the South, where ignorant folk and rural folk don't know how to act if they don't look like her. So it is going to be a different pressure. And we just, tomorrow night, in all of our joy, I hope that we can all just rally around and just say a prayer for her and her family, because tomorrow our president will be elected, and that president will be American, and that's where everyone needs to start from. Stop dissecting race and gender and opinions and non-factual stuff. Embrace the fact that an American was elected president. And if you didn't participate in that, then you need to shut the hell up anyway.
But one thing we don't want to see, if we can possibly help it, is another January 6th. We don't want
to promise that. I think some of that will occur, unfortunately.
I'm saying, but I would begin
riling them up, but I don't believe that they're going to be stupid this time, because a lot of people see how he just turned his back on those people. So I hope that they have sense enough to understand that Donald ain't for nobody but Donald, and I mean, getting sentenced to 10 years behind somebody that don't even know your name. Or y'all remember that guy, Ben, his name wasn't Ben Carson. It was another guy named Ben that had ran for president one time, the black guy. And he went to one of Trump's rallies and wound up dying of COVID because he wouldn't put on a mask.
I know you're talking about. Oh God, he was the owner of Godfathers at one time. Yeah. But you know what?
And he didn't even go to that man's funeral.
Well, here's the thing. There are people who don't think about consequences, and there are people who really think they can get away with it. And the Klan still lives. Organizations like the Ku Klux Klan still live, unfortunately. And there are just people out there that are just plain stupid anyway. And so I think it's those populations that are foolish enough to either A, try to intimidate voters, or B, not really think about the impact of a decision like that. Like, you gotta think about it. Trump went up there and they were going to hang Mike Pence. Like, how stupid can you be to even think that thought? And so there are going to be some outliners out there that are going to be just not smart about things and just take it to the extreme. And people just be careful, because I don't put nothing past nobody.
You know, we were going down Abercorn Street. What's that? Last Thursday, and they had, it must be 30 or 40 Trumpsters out there with the flags and everything else, just riding up and down the street like the old days in the rodeo, but they were in trucks and in cars. So it is something that we have to be mindful of and look at. But like you say, we have to be able to look at it, face it, and then turn around, if possible, walk away from it.
Yeah. But I believe that, a lot of the issues that's on the ballot this time, because what you don't do is you don't tell a woman that you're going to take away her rights, and then you take away her rights, and then you come back and say, and I'm going to be your protector, whether you want it or not. See, because all of us unanimously, white, black, Indian, Chinese, all of us are giving you the middle finger right now, Trump. And they were not prepared for this. They were not prepared for this backlash when they decided to overturn Roe versus Wade. But this one decision that they made is going to haunt them for elections to come until it has been reversed. Once it is made the law of the land that we have control over our own bodies, and we don't need nobody from the government telling us what we should be doing, because if we don't have a vote on whether a man should get Cialis or damn Viagra or a vasectomy or right, whatever, a man shouldn't have a damn vote on what the hell we should be doing. Mind your damn business. It's what we own. Let this be between me and my God, or me and my gynecologist. And it's mighty funny, y'all pro-life until the life get here, and then you don't want to feed it, you don't want to house it, you don't want to do a damn thing for these kids.
Well, it's pro-life until it's a black life.
It's pro-life.
And your time is out, Mr.
Needy life. It's pro-life until it's a needy life, until it's a poor life. Then they telling them, pick yourself up by your bootstraps and all kind of foolishness. But these kids need y'all to be pro-life more than through those 9 months that they're in the womb. And I just can't understand why people are always, y'all didn't want anybody in your business when COVID was going around, and the Republicans did not want to wear masks. But now all of a sudden, when women are saying, well, if I don't want to have a baby right now, I shouldn't have to have one. But you're saying, if my child get raped, you gonna make her have that child? Mm-hmm. The hell will you say?
All right, y'all.
This is it, y'all. I mean, it is the truth. We have been bringing you the truth. We are not going to stop bringing you the truth. We're so glad to have Chandra McCreathers with us. We got Dr. Robert Bryant with us today, and it is the night before the election, and all through this county, and a creek turn, not a politician saying nothing. So we're here, we're talking because this is the vulnerable community, and we're trying to make sure that you get the right facts in before you go to the polls tomorrow. So with that being said, y'all, we're going to tell each and every one of you thank you for being with us tonight, especially Chandra, all the way from Houston, Texas. We appreciate you there. And until you come back home, I'm looking for my turkey.
I'm coming.
All right.
And Mr. Irwin, I want to tell y'all that I didn't appreciate your whole family coming over here to Houston, and nobody called me to say, "Hey, we here. Come out to dinner with us." I'm gonna just say that.
And on that note, y'all have a good one now. Bye, y'all.
Join us for an unforgettable Caribbean cruise. Attention everyone, are you ready for a summer escape? Our Black Media Network invites you to an incredible Caribbean cruise from June 16th to June 20th, 2025. Whether you're bringing your partner or connecting with family and friends, this is the perfect getaway. Here's what you can look forward to. Monday, we set sail for the Port Carnival, Orlando, Florida. The adventure begins. Tuesday, enjoy a fun day at the sea. Relax and take part in exciting onboard activities. Wednesday, discover the beauty of Grand Turk. Immerse yourself in the island of culture and scenery. Thursday, another fun day at the sea. More time to mingle with you and your boo. Friday, explore the stunning shores of the Bahamas. Experience paradise firsthand. And last but not least, Saturday, we return to the Port Carnival, bringing back cherished memories. This cruise is your chance to engage with your favorite show host, your spouse, and make valuable connections and ignite.
Hello, I'm Richard Coleman, and I'm running for the office of Sheriff of Chatham County. And when I'm elected, I promise to inspect what I expect. Chatham County, it's time for a change, and that change is me, Richard Coleman.